Welcome back, you guys, to the Common Sense Podcast, where common minds come together because
common sense ain't that common. And we sorry, y'all. We know 2024.
We've been gone 3,985 days in 2 seconds.
But we back now. We back. A lot of that was because, man, we had a whole election going. I hope y'all don't be forgetting. Like, we are, like, in the news as well. So we got to cover
anchor,
that as well.
News reporter, sometimes news reporter. Yeah, but we're past that. We're looking to come into 2025, hitting the ground running. And we're going to bring you guys some good content. We have some good stuff in store for y'all. So if y'all stick around with us, we will deliver. Well, without further ado, let's get straight into this episode. So, Cam, can you tell the wonderful people what it is we are talking about today?
Well, as you can see from the title, we're talking about a little bit of the NBA today. And, guys, I don't know if it's just me, maybe because I've been in the news for a little bit, but the NBA has not hit like it used to hit. There's been something missing. I'm an OKC fan. My team is the number one ranked team in the Western Conference right now, and I couldn't care less. And I feel like that's a bit of a problem within itself. So we're kind of talking about today, why is the NBA kind of on the downward trend? Because the viewership of the NBA has gone down too. So would you want to start there?
Right. I would say as an NBA fan as well, I have also haven't really been interested in it as far as like just seeing stuff come down my timeline, looking at certain statistics, looking at how certain games turned out, other than looking at it through my social media or through the Bleacher Report app. I haven't really looked at any games, even the Christmas games this year. I wasn't necessarily excited to watch this year. And I think one of the reasons why the viewership is down, specifically in my opinion, is that the accessibility. We were kind of talking about this with the NFL too, where it's like in some circumstances, you have certain fans that cannot watch their own team play because it's showing on a certain streaming platform, or because it's showing over here, this provider is showing it, or this provider is showing it. But some people may not want to pay an extra $15 to $20 a month to get access to those streaming services, so they're missing out on games. And that's happening. Happening on multiple fronts, like with multiple teams. And so I think that's a huge problem with it, where it's like most of the fans cannot watch their teams play because they would either have to get a subscription to watch it, or they just don't have accessibility to it.
I think a little bit of the blame goes, kind of adding to your point, is the presentation. I remember back in 2017, 2018, the amount of commercials you used to see before these top teams played were crazy. You knew what teams played. Now you're kind of going on maybe like HBO Max or on TNT and kind of guessing, oh, there's basketball on right now, but you don't necessarily know who plays, what type of storylines are going on, and it's kind of just flattened out. And it's just like when you go back, especially like when you look at the playoffs and things like that, like the introductions they had to those games. I think J. Cole was narrating it in 2018. You had all these other things. You remember the Pitbull one, the whole Timber thing?
Yeah.
It feels like the past couple seasons we haven't had any.
It's been a storyline.
Yeah,
some
like
type
it's
of
been like
or there's been like the media or the packaging of everything was perfect.
Right.
From the rivalries to the music, the commercials,
even
everything.
the court has changed. Remember when they used to have the whole NBA Finals logo thing everywhere, and it was like all nice, and now it's like just NBA Finals.
Where I remember they used to have commercials like, I think it was, you can help me, I'm not sure if this is correct. It was when Kevin Durant, after going to Golden State, came back to OKC that one time, and they had the cupcake.
Oh yeah, they did. Okay. So look, I don't even know where you're going right there, but that's because everybody loves each other in this league as well, so you kind of can't have that many moments. And I think that kind of goes back to, the players itself. You look at some of the supposed to be top stars. You can look at Zion and Ja Morant here as an example. Ja Morant, on top of the world, everything, has a couple of videos with guns, takes himself away for a complete season. That whole excitement is gone. And then Zion Williamson, he can't stay healthy. So it's just like, that's another one.
Before.
Yeah, so that's another thing gone that we were looking to see. And now we're kind of looking towards like European players, which is nothing wrong because they do have great game. But the top players in the league are all European. And I think it's kind of hard to connect to, especially when you look at someone like Jokic, who is extremely good, a walking triple-double, but doesn't want to be the face of the league. Honestly, I remember the clip where they were talking about going to the championship parade, and he was like, "No, I want to go back home." like does not care. I mean, Giannis is cool to watch. You know, you got Shea, that's from Canada as well. But it's just like there's no real American players other than maybe like Anthony Edwards that are kind of like pushing the agenda.
To go back to my point with the example that I was using with Kevin Durant coming back to OKC with the cupcake signs and everything, like that was like a real moment where it was like, okay, this is a surreal moment. You had all of this going on with him leaving. You had the quote unquote beef with him and Russ, and then him coming back to OKC. And then you even saw the commercials, like I believe it was after they won the first championship with Golden State, when he was with Golden State. It had a commercial of him, of Kevin Durant, like afterwards. I'm so sorry, I cannot remember like the full context, but I know basically it was saying what are they gonna say now type of stuff. After he won, it was a specific commercial that came on, and it's certain stuff like that adds that little pizzazz, that adds that the small details that
like when
matter.
Kawhi went to the Clippers and he had like the king thing on the back of his keys, because you knew
like
they were hinting at, okay, since LeBron in LA too, you know what I'm saying, but I'm the real king of LA, like stuff like that. Right. It's a little bit of the pettiness.
Right.
The showmanship is gone, because I feel like, you know, maybe because you're a little bit more into this than I am. The NBA back in 2015, 2018 had a little bit of WWE vibes.
Oh yeah,
to it.
yeah.
Like it was a little bit of a show being put on,
right?
Just because, you know, you had so many players with so much personality, and I feel like they really highlighted on that. And then now it seems like that's kind of been lost.
We love Steph Curry over here, man.
Go ahead and get to the next point.
This is probably one of the biggest problems.
Right.
We love Steph Curry. But ever since that man started hitting threes at an astronomical rate and frequency, it changed the league forever.
Honestly, he might just sneak his way into some top 5 lists just because of the fact that he has
changed the game forever.
And honestly, it's too analytic based now, because most people are thinking, you know, the obvious numbers thing is, if I make more threes and you're only shooting 2s, mathematically I'm going to win the game. Right. And so now you have teams like the Boston Celtics that have players that can do multiple things, like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but they take 53s a game, which is the league high. And it's just like, well, they won the championship last year, so you want to replicate that, and you want to shoot as many threes as you can. And now we're looking at fast breaks. That's 2-on-1, and instead of going to the rim, we taking 3-point shots and living with the results. Right. And it's just like that's every single play. And you kind of lack the diversity there a little bit too, because you're just seeing screen and roll after screen and roll after screen and roll. You're seeing the same offense over and over again.
It's no like it's nothing really special to see when, like, for example, we'll be watching a game and we'll see a 3-on-2 fast break, but instead of taking it to the rim or taking it into the paint, we're gonna, okay, everybody, let's just stop on the 3-point line and just shoot. And it takes, like you said, it takes a little bit of the diversity and originality away from it, because there was a time in the NBA where each team had their own cycle of plays that they played, and you knew when you seen it, it belonged to that team.
Because originally the Rockets kind of only played that way. Because I remember when Mike D'Antoni and when they had the James Harden, CP3, Trevor Ariza type team, that's the team that just took nothing but threes over and over again. And that was their identity, and people were kind of still on the fences, like, does that really work for real, or blah blah blah. And they played the Warriors, and then, you know, it's kind of just all went away.
Right. Yeah.
But now everyone's playing that way. Yeah.
Right. But like for example, you have like the Spurs. They were known for classical, like that good fundamental basketball, and people called it boring.
Right, because they played like a WNBA team, but they had supreme athletes around with Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and
they won championships. Right, so it was like, what you gonna say?
Right,
but when you seen that, you knew it was the Spurs, and the Spurs didn't play like the Heat. The Spurs didn't play like the Celtics. Everybody had their own style of play, but now everybody's running the same play over and over and over again. We're gonna get the ball, bring it down, stop, maybe toss it around the top of the key a couple of times, and then we're gonna stop, and then we're gonna shoot it. Whoever has the ball, we're gonna get it to our most trusted shooter, and they're gonna shoot it.
All right, and honestly, I go back to like styles making fights, but if everyone has the same style, it makes for a pretty boring fight.
Right.
Like I keep going back to OKC because I'm a huge OKC fan. I remember when OKC had to play the Memphis Grizzlies back in like 2015. Two totally different styles of basketball. You know, Memphis with Zebo,
Right,
and you had what was it, Marc Gasol and the rest of them, Mike Conley. They were gonna play a very aggressive defensive style of basketball,
Right.
and the Thunder were high flying, want to run all over the court. And it was like, and Memphis was like, nah, you're not gonna do that. And so we saw teams and players be put in different positions and have to make interesting plays, have to do something outside of their norm to be really good.
Right.
And we're missing that right now. I think another thing that's kind of led to this downward trend is the amount of player switching, which has killed rivalries.
Honestly, that has, because everybody's like either teaming up, and that kind of adds to the friendliness thing you were talking about, where everybody has been on every team with everybody.
Right.
So when you have so many players that are switching to different teams, it's like, well, if we're missing something, we don't have to come up with plays or strategies to fix it. We can just go get somebody.
Yeah, just play with LeBron.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of messed up the rivalry aspect of it, because, you know, the Lakers and Celtics, you know, even going back to the 80s, that was like the rivalry of the league. That's almost like the equivalent of like Ravens Steelers in the NFL.
Right.
So, but now, you know, you look at those two teams and you don't feel anything. You know, it's no type of tension there. It's no type of anything. This is the same team that Paul Pierce, KG, was trying to kill Kobe Bryant in those finals and during the regular season, and now you really don't see that. Like, I can't even think of two players that genuinely dislike each other. I remember Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and your guy Dylan Brooks got into it, and they were just laughing afterwards because there is no type of animosity. I'm not saying that has to be animosity in basketball or any type of sport, but it kind of adds again to that narrative, right? Yeah. Everyone says it kind of started with LeBron, but to me, KD did it in a way that was so crazy that everyone started doing it, and so now it's just like players with legacies on teams. I mean, one of my favorite players, Russell Westbrook, kind of is a victim of this as well, because I feel like Russ has been switching from team to team to team to team to team, and it's just like it kind of loses, you know, what makes them so great being with that one franchise.
Yeah, I was in their defense though. I can see from the player's perspective where it's like, if I get hurt right now at any given moment and I'm not useful to them, they can kick me to the curb at any given moment. So why shouldn't I be able, as the player who has the leverage in certain situations, why would I not utilize that same logic? Because at the end of the day, they don't care about me as much as they claim they do. This is a point that me and my brother talk about all the time, where it seems like players have kind of lost passion for the game at the same time too.
A lot of players sitting out. Like, we don't see a lot of players like this whole low managing being healthy. Like, you pay all this money to go to a game and you figure out LeBron and AD not playing. It's like you just wasted some money.
Honestly. Right. And my brother brings this up all the time, how he grew up watching like the old age basketball, like in the 90s, that people say is like more it has more grit than the NBA now. And so he says he notices the change. Me and my brother are 13 years apart, and I'm 24, just so y'all can kind of like see the time frame. But he says like he'll watch it now and he'll be like, why are these guys not hustling for the rebound? Like, we're letting the other team get the rebound, like not taking care of the basketball, just chucking up threes, not taking time to see what it is are the options that you have on the floor, things of that nature. And he's older than me, so he kind of, and he's been able to like compare both, and that's some things that I've noticed that a lot of people have been saying.
I may have come to a sad realization.
What?
Are we old heads?
Squidward. Yeah, Squidward. Yeah, Squidward. Yeah.
Like, are there... No, just being for real. If it's like everyone has gone through this point, especially like watching basketball, where they feel like, man, the league's not what it used to be anymore. It's not this, it's not that. Are we just part of the older generation that's finally like, that's kind of exiting its way out? Because if you think about it, all of our favorite players are about to retire soon. I mean, LeBron is 40 something. Russ is probably 2 years away from it. Steph doesn't have, I mean, Steph may play longer just because he's a shooter.
Yeah, because he's a shooter.
He may be able to prolong his career a little bit. You know, Kyrie, those guys are kind of, 2 to 3 years away from just calling it, right?
See, I don't know because it seems like a couple of years this wasn't an issue.
Right, yeah. Because with the influx of new players.
Yeah.
We thought that Tatum, Zion, Ja would take care of it. And it hasn't transferred like we thought it would, though.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, everything just kind of went sideways. Like you said earlier.
With
like,
Ja, yeah.
Ja.
So how do they fix it? How do they fix the problem? How does the NBA go back to what it used to be? Or can it at this point?
I don't think it can go back to what it used to be because it's like at this point, teams are going to play by the style that they already have set, and they're not going to change it because they hear two people on a podcast talking about it. So they're not going to change it because of that. But I think at least the marketing can get
The marketing has to change.
At least the marketing can get
At least
better.
try to make me want to watch these games where people
Right.
shoot 83s.
Oh, and the graphics, like certain things like the graphics, the
uniforms.
editing, like I have to give a shot. I think is it House of Highlights or Bleacher Report that does the anime stuff? Whichever page does that.
Bleacher Report.
They constantly, like, every time a team wins or loses, I am excited to see what they are going to post. Yeah. And it could be because I'm an anime fan, so I guess you can take what I'm saying.
But they keep
with a grain
taking
of salt.
jerseys away too, though. You know, like they took the Mamba jerseys away from the Lakers. I feel like they should always have those.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Like it just feel like
For
some
sure.
stuff that they took away was just like, why you take that away? You know?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of questionable decisions
Right.
being made. But I think in order to fix it, you have to first of all make it more accessible. Yes, you can have streaming services that carry certain games, but the big games with the big teams,
Let everybody be able to watch.
let
them.
everybody
Put them
be
on
able to
local
watch.
TV.
Like the New York Knicks, like why are there a certain amount of their games being held away from their fans? They probably have some of the biggest fan base, do they
Right.
not?
They do.
So in that situation, it's like you got to be able to have that accessibility for the fans that actually care and want to watch the games. Come out with some more commercials that get us excited for
Right.
the season, even if it doesn't have anything to do with any product.
Guys, if we're tripping, let us know down in the comment section. What do you think the NBA needs to do? The All-Star game sucks as well. We probably didn't get to that because this video would have been 10, 15 more minutes talking about how bad the All-Star game is that nobody tries in. So definitely tell us if you feel the same about the NBA. What do you think should change? And, what's the source of the problem? You got anything?
No, that's it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel and share the video with your friends. And anything else for you?
That's it.
That's going to end the video. We'll see you guys the next time. Bye.